All right, so our gangs, this daily aftermarket outlook, and it's Wednesday afternoon, the 25th of March. Well, we had a little follow through today. Nothing negative came out as far as the truce talks. Anyway, there's still the tendency. The Trump says there's a 15-point plan that went out, and that was pretty much verified by all the different news agencies. And CNN said there was a source inside of Iran that had been talking. So there's a lot of noise and chatter in the market about it, and that again that Pakistan and Turkey wanted to host something to try to see if things get resolved. Now, so we'll see. The window is starting to narrow or tighten in as far as that 5 day window. So as we get into tomorrow, Thursday, and then Friday, things could be getting pretty interesting again as far as the market. So this market is still in a kind of sideways mode as far as no aggressive buying or selling yet, waiting to see what does come out of this potential talks and see if the whole thing really, kind of lies on, Iran capitulating and accepting the 15-point, uh, plan that Trump put out, or else he says he's going to start bombing again. So we'll see if that happens, or if Trump tries to kind of capitulate a little bit to kind of turn things off to stabilize the economy, things like that. So just looking at the market, it's a best time right now to be cautious and kind of wait to see what these things are going to come out of it, and especially into Thursday as we narrow in on that 5 day deadline coming up. So you can see we're back to the 200-day moving average. Really needs to get back above that for this thing to kind of stabilize, but that's not going to happen until we know what happens with the negotiations, if there are negotiations, and if Iran does something or not. So if they do something, this thing will rip to the upside. If they do nothing and we start bombing again, this thing is going to rip back to the downside, and we're going to retest these support areas, these lows. So this will be tested here and probably easily be taken out. So that low right there from the 19th of March, and that would be, I think, taken out pretty fast if nothing actually happens. And so then we want to be short. So this is a really key area here. So if nothing happens, we're going to be looking for shorts on a break lower. Still, my preference would be the Russell 2000, because it's going to be the one that'll get hit the most because it's more interest rate sensitive. So we'll probably look at shorts here. If nothing happens, and if Iran goes on and says, okay, we reject your proposal, we're not gonna cave, okay? So then we're gonna see this right into the 21. We're gonna see this totally run over and break this 200-day moving average here at 240, and then head lower there. So we'll be watching this closely on the Russell. So it all, comes into what's going to happen in the next day or two, or by Friday, or maybe they stall it into the weekend. Now, if they do something stalled into the weekend, may want to put on some kind of short trade anyway, just a really low, cost short trade, just in case something happens over the weekend and he bombs heck out of Iran. The typical pattern has been that when they do a major, kind of military movement, they've been waiting for either on a Saturday or Sunday when the market's closed. So we'll probably, if nothing comes out Friday and they're still say, okay, we're still thinking about it, blah, 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 we're going to look to put on some kind of a, out of the money puts that are cheap. So if we're kind of a binary trader, either, something happens and we make good money return on that, or, something good happens and the market goes up and we lose a little money on that. I prefer the market to go up, obviously, so that would be kind of what we'll be looking at. So really, as far as anything to do, just going to be sitting here. I'm looking for short trades, kind of primarily, and one trade that we do have on that looks really good, that's turned out all right, or pretty good so far, is the Slumberjay. That's the one we set up yesterday, and so we had a nice move up here today, up to almost 3%. So really good move, looking really good on Slumberjay, and we had some really nice profit here today. This was up over $100 per spread, and so we'll just play this trade. What I'm thinking here is, if this thing pans out the way it potentially could, what we're going to probably want to do is roll and adjust this thing up for a bigger move to the upside to our next target levels, which will be up here to these Fibonacci levels, which are coming in right here. You can see that 127, that's a 1272 extension, and that's coming in at, pull this down a little bit, that's coming in here. If we get this look today, see here's the prior high right here. That prior high was at that 52.45, and today we chipped through it 52.55. That's really, really positive on a technical basis, and it closed up on these highs right below that dash green is the prior month's high. So this looks really good. We'll see what happens. So if this gets pushed through, then the next target is going to be the 1272 extension around 54.82, call it 55, and then up here to 1618 at 57.87. So the trade looks good. What we'll end up in the perfect trading world, what we'd like to do is just go ahead and keep the short premium that we have on that 27 March 54 call that we're short. And not a whole lot of premium, it's about $9. We'll keep that. That'll reduce down our costs on the debit spread side. Then we'll roll the trade to the 2 April. So we'll be now long the 10 April 50 call. And then we'll, on Friday or something or tomorrow, we'll roll the short strike to the 2 April and see where we want to put it there and work the trade on up. To eventually, what I'd like to do is have the C keep trending up and eventually roll the whole trade into the long duration side of the trade on the 10 April, the 50, where we're long that 50 call, and then, run that up, take some profit on that, roll that up to maybe the 51 and do a call debit spread or condor. So I'll be looking at that trade. We'll see how she rolls tomorrow, but looks pretty good there. Now a couple of short trade setups that I want to take an eye on tomorrow and keep close kind of watch list here will be a couple here. One is Roku, ROKU. You can see this is starting to roll over, breaking below that 200-day, breaks back below here, down she goes. Roku's a potential short. Another one is DocuSign, DOCU. Looking at this as a potential short right here. Break of that 45, down she goes. Momentum's negative, below all the key moving averages, had that retrace into the 50 and rejected there. Momentum downside cross. So that's another potential trade setup. Another one is Intuit, INTU, right here. You can see it rolling over here, breaking that prior low here. That has a nice potential downside. Momentum downside cross, momentum negative. So Intuit. Want to look at those are the main ones. So we'll check those out tomorrow. A couple potential long ones would be TJ Maxx, TJX, but I don't want to go in long anything until we know more about what's happening with the Iran situation, but that's a good looking trade setup right there. You can see it's got a momentum upside cross. We've got cycle 1 and 2 momentum up. We've got it breaking back above the 50. This looks like a great trade. I would love to jump in on this. We'll see where it is pricing out, but that long looks really, really good. And so we'll look at that and go from there. So make sure to join me in the trade room tomorrow, and we'll go over all this and much more. So I hope this helps. Good luck trading.